Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another RSG Lunch Hour stream. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host and part of the RSG crew. Welcome, everybody, to the show. If you're new to the show and wondering what in the hell is this is where we hang out with you good folks for the next hour and a half, and we'll do a roster review. We'll answer your questions. We've got Weird News Monday. Finn makes me do this. I don't like to do it, but there are some interesting stories. Hopefully, there's some chicken stories, and we can make fun of Grandi for those. But if you do have questions, go ahead and put those in there. And we've got Mr. Gingivitis himself, Stanley Red the Solus one here to scoop him up. What's going on, Stanley?
It's going good.
Also join us here is, there's so many words in the dictionary that can describe this next guest. He shows up when he wants. He's Carrie's pull boy, the brown Gandalf, the government Wi-Fi stealer, the French tickler, the one and only, the big deal Grande Pappy Patron.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy, Lord Grande Verga Patron, coming at you with another lunchtime stream that I had nothing to prepare for, but I'll take all the credit.
That's right. And also joining us is the one and only Xylo Takedown. You're still far away, dude.
Can you hear me? Hey.
Closer?
He comes from a land down under.
Get you his Vegemite sandwich.
He's under the table. Duck and cover.
Him and my apprentice are outside trading. But yes, if you have questions, go ahead and put those in. Now, if you have questions, make sure you put the word question in front of your statement, and we will go ahead and get those scooped up, and we will get to those after we get through all the rest of our stuff. We have a Ross review and some other fun stuff, and then at the end of the show, like we always do, we will go ahead and get those ready to rock and roll. Now, real big announcement. Remember, this Saturday, the 15th, is our big charity stream, 12 hours. We're going to cover that at the end of the stream, but I do want to mention, and I'm going to start pimping this at the beginning of these lunch hour, that it is coming up. We're going to have a lot of great guests. We're going to do a lot of different games, a lot of fun stuff, and please help support us as we try to raise money. The goal is $15,000. We're over 10% of that already, just from people already going there and donating already. So if you haven't checked out the ACS page, it's linked down below. You can donate through Tiltify. We have all kinds of fun prizes and stuff that we have associated with that. Or you can just go to our ACS page directly and donate there. Whatever works, it's all there available to you guys, so we can do that. So make sure you check that out. Also, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up on the video. If you haven't already subscribed, we do a lot of live streaming. If you like to see when we are streaming, the best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification, and then you know when we're doing our live streams. And last but not least, our Patreon page. We do have a Patreon page set up. If you would like to help support the channel, keep putting out the great content that you enjoy, by all means, go check out our Patreon. We got all kinds of cool stuff for our Patreons. We have different levels from $5 to $25. And I think that's all the mechanisms. So, guys, a lot going on in the game. We're farming Ewoks. For those that don't know, I did the Remon show last night at the Alliance, so I'm exhausted because I did the D&D campaign and then we did 3 streams on Saturday. I'm a little tired, but you know what? It's all for the right reasons. And I did a Remon show last night. If you haven't checked that out on the Alliance, please do. A lot of fun hanging out with Remon, good old Maurice, and then I forget her name, Avanesh. She was on.
Avanesh.
Yeah, she's really awesome. We've had her on the Angel stream before. She's really good, really cool. So if you haven't checked that out, please do give them some love and support. It's so late at night, Grande. Oh my god,
it is
like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, how do you do this?
He does it really late. He does it really late, man. But that's when he has time. So I think I've been on that show a couple times.
So
he's a great guy.
It's a lot of fun. So Grande, I gotta AFK a second. If you could talk about Grand Arena for a minute, I'll be right back.
Yeah, so I guess let's kind of go around the corn and see how everybody did in Grand Arena. We've now played it either once, or we've played it 1.5 times, or we've played it 2 times, depending on how you decide to count for it. Sanely, what are your initial thoughts on Grand Arena? Sanely? He might be gone. Xylo.
Yep.
Are you there, Sanely? I'll tell you my thoughts while we get Xylo and while we get Sanely going. I've won both matches. The first one was super quick, right? Because they had some issues with it right when it first came out for the offense side, and I will tell you that it seems to be both times the matches have been relatively close, right? They've been, within 30, 80 points. I've seen a bunch of guys that have won by 2 points or 4 points or 1 point. So I think that if you're playing up against a player that's actually actively participating pretty hardcore on offense and defense, it's going to come down to the wire, which means you really have to do a lot of planning. The nice thing about Grand Arena is you have 24 hours and you can see all of the teams that you're fighting up against. So you can go ahead and make sure that you have all the correct counters ready to go, and you can plan out how you're going to beat all. I think the least amount of teams you can put down is like 2 or 3, and the most amount of teams that I've seen that someone has to put down are 7. So it's somewhere between 3 and 7 teams. But you're going to have to mod those, those 7 offensive teams, 7 defensive teams, or 3. Mod those teams really well, and
All right, I come back and we're having all kinds of issues. Oh, Lord. Hang on, everybody. And I think the emulator just crashed me. Hold on. Christ. Hold on, everybody. If you guys can hear me.
okay. Well, I'm just answering a couple of questions here for a little bit.
All right, we should be back on live now, guys. Sorry about that. I'm setting everything back up, so bear with me while we get everything rocking and rolling. Sorry about that. Something. I think this is. I'm pretty sure that all those news stories spam the hell out. I don't know what it does. It just basically slows the hell out of my computer. I think it's because of all the spam associated with them. Until Finn finds a better site, I'm not using those anymore. It happens every Monday that something crazy happens. As soon as I start clicking those off when we're doing them, everything goes back to normal. So bear with me a second while I get everything set up. You guys, I think we were talking about Grand Arena before.
We had been talking about Grand Arena. I don't know where it cut off at. We kind of talked a whole bunch about it, so not really sure.
Well, it's just
now they can hear us.
Yeah.
So basically, we talked about that. There's, some people have had some issues with, they set a team. The opponent set a team, or the opponent didn't set a team. The opponent comes in and plays. The opponent doesn't come in and play, right? And a couple of things that I noticed with that, there's a Facebook post that says, I don't have to set my defense. I can go all in on offense and I still win. And I said, that is fundamentally wrong. And here's why. If you don't set a defense, you go all in on offense and you go all in early, it looks like you won. The moment that player goes in and clicks onto Grand Arena on the next day, they get all the points as if they had won. Mm-hmm. So they end up with a perfect score. They end up with a, whatever it is, like a 1558 or whatever a perfect score is, right? For 7. I only know the 7 team number. I'm sorry, guys. I've never played it with 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 teams. I've only played it with 7 teams. And so they're going to end up getting a perfect score. And so they'll win. So the only way you can win by not setting a defense is if the other player doesn't log in. That's the only way you can win. If the player logs in and opens up Grand Arena in one of their logins, they win, because that's when they get allotted the points.
All right. Well, I lost by 2 points. It just came down to my characters didn't have full protection. That's all it came down to.
That's really unfortunate. I mean, we've got to. So you and I were kind of discussing ahead of time is that you don't want to have it where somebody doesn't set a defense and then you win. Somebody doesn't log in and they don't play offense, so then you win. But we also don't want to have it where you lose by 2 points because 2 characters didn't have protection versus another character. It's going to make certain teams really strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, teams that don't have good health steal, or teams that don't have good, protection regeneration, or health, or like a healer, right? It's going to make those teams really kind of strange. Like, another way it's going to make it strange is if you have a character that ends up soaking up all your damage. One of the other strategies we were looking at was trying to go in 4v5, right? Because there's some kind of a bonus if you don't go in with a full set of 5. And I was thinking about that, and I'm like, how many teams do you know of where you can go in 4v5 and you're going to still have protection when you get out of the thing, right? Like, you're going to lose, like, you may have won extra points or whatever for only going in 4v5, so you gained a point there, but you lost points because you went in 4v5. So I think it's going to be there's definitely a strategy that's going to come out. I don't think the strategy is don't set a defense, and I don't think the strategy is go in 4v5. There's some other strategy, like a real strategy, that's going to work.
Yeah.
With the health and protection caveat, right? Like, another difference maker could be, like, say if you go in and detonate an IPD on your end, that could cost you the whole.
Yeah. So yeah. IPD is not going to be the hero of this mission, right? Because if you've gotten to the point where you can detonate IPD, you've already lost 1 point because IPD doesn't have protection anymore. He doesn't have full health.
He's gone. Yeah, you lose that one slot,
and then you blow it up. Now, let's talk about when you might want to use IPD. It's similar, like with TW, right? You might want to use. Let's say you went in and you lost, right? And so then you have the whole question of, do you go in and lose, or do you go in and then you're supposed to retreat like you do in TW? Because I've seen it both ways, right? I've seen people go in and actually play and then lose, and then I've seen people back out and then they go in and fight it a second time. If you went in and fought it a second time and you don't have any like OP squads left, maybe you should bring in IPD, blow someone up, then go in a third time, and then actually win, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Cheese it down, yeah.
So you're basically cheesing it down a little bit. But like I said, here's the nice thing. You get to see all the teams, right? It's not like how it's different than TW is. In TW, you only get to see what you're facing on the front 2 spots. Well, there are only 2 spots in Grand Arena. Well, if there's only 2 spots in Grand Arena, it means you can literally plan out all of your moves ahead of time. You don't have to say, oh, well, I have to save Bastila in case there's this team, and so I can't put Bastila on my Revan team, or you know what, or I need to make 2 trooper teams instead of 1 trooper team, because there might be they might have put Bosk and they might have put Night Sisters, and I just can't see them yet. You don't have to do any of these kind of like weird, like splitting up teams and going in with just enough to kill it on the first go around. You can, because you see everything, it means you can plan out. You could literally take the first 6 hours and plan out every one of your teams, and then make sure it's exactly how you want it. So you know all 5 characters that you're using against every one of his teams. You know the speeds. You can work it out in your head ahead of time. I mean, that's a lot of work. I don't know if you want to do that every time, but if you really, really wanted to win every time, you could really analyze it a bunch because you get to see everything. But
just for me, I mean, it's I don't mind losing if I lose, but I mean, I don't know. It just, for me, it was like 2 points just because two of my characters didn't have full protection. They had some protection. It is what it is. I mean,
But still, it's like you can't be happy, or you know what I mean. It's like you're definitely more upset at the fact that you lose by 2 points, especially 2 points, right?
yeah.
I mean, like
It's not that
it's
I
such
wasn't
a
efficient. It wasn't that I didn't use the right teams. I did the right counters, but now I got to rethink everything because it's like, God, I have to have somebody that can regen protection on these teams
Or
if I'm going to go
right,
five.
or
Because
you gotta throw something, or you gotta throw something weird at them, right? You gotta do non-conventional modding on like a team, knowing what their counter is gonna be for that team, right? Like go in like with a super tenacity on one character that doesn't normally have it, or you gotta like go in with tons of speed on a character they don't expect a ton of speed on, right?
right.
I mean, you're gonna have to mod for what you think for what the standard counter is, like mod against it on purpose. You know, the guy I went up against said that he didn't expect my Mother Towson to be full of tons of offense and hit like a truck. Well,
Yeah,
you
hitting
know,
over 20K a piece. Yeah.
he's like, I was not expecting her to hit that hard, and I was like, yeah, she's full offense, bro. That's all she does. I mean, that's my arena, that's my raid modding, right? Because I forgot to throw back on the arena modding for Night Sisters, and so they're sitting there with a ton of freaking offense. I think she even has an offense arrow on. I mean, it's
nice.
So yeah,
Well,
so he's like, so it's a different way, and so they're not used to it.
for me, I didn't find Grand Arena fun at all. It's Territory Wars condensed, and it wasn't any. It didn't feel like it didn't feel anything new. So it is what it is. I'm sure people enjoy it, and
It's sort of like Territory Wars, and it's sort of like Galactic War.
yeah,
right?
it's a mixture of both. And I'm like, it just didn't. I mean, I did it, and I was like, okay, I don't know. It just didn't. It just wasn't fun for me.
And we're still seeing the first. We're still in the exhibition matches, right? We're still doing one player versus another player. You both get first time rewards, I think, right?
Mhm.
So we're not even on the 8v8 like it's gonna be, right? I mean, if it's
Right.
8v8 and you lose one by 2, you're probably gonna win the next 3, right? And if you win, or the next 2, so if you win that, then you end up with like second place rewards. That's not bad.
It's not bad,
So
but it's
the matchmaking. Like you guys got matchmaking pretty well. Like
Oh yeah, I think the matchmaking.
thousand.
Oh yeah,
it's-
yeah. The matchmaking was great. I was so I played a guy in my arena shard, which was really fun, right? So I played it.
Yeah.
I mean, because I played a guy in my arena shard. Of course, my arena shard went freaking nutsoid, right? Because they're all in the same guild with the guy, and so they have like this whole like rumble in the jungle, like chart, like chat going up, which is a bunch of fun. And then of course I win, and they're like, it's a sad day for the world. They have this whole they make this whole like thing about it. So that was fun, right? So getting to meet the people is fun, and getting to kind of chat about it, that's kind of cool. But and potentially when there's 8 people, it's going to be a lot of fun, because if there's 8 people, that means there's probably somebody in there, which it's always cool. I mean, to fight somebody who's like close to you. I mean, potentially in the 8v8, in the 8 round robin, I could get Sir Loki. So it'd be Grande versus Loki. I mean, that'd be a lot of fun, right? You could potentially get Ranger versus Finity. That'd be fun. I mean, we haven't actually. So that
I'm holding a little bit of judgment. I'm just saying my initial thing was there's some good things. I'm sure some people like it, some people don't. I wasn't impressed. Is all I'm saying.
Sure.
It just felt like rehash, stuff. You can say what you want about Territory Wars and Territory Battles when they came out in the raids, but they were all different and unique. And
it doesn't feel like nothing new, right?
Yeah, it's just a tournament style thing, and kudos to them for trying to do something, but I don't know. It felt like just another step to Territory Wars and extra stuff to do, and I'm like, I've got enough crap to deal with this game right now. It's like between Territory Wars, Territory Battles, the raids, everything else. It's like with Arena, I mean, I know they're trying to change it up in the game, so we'll see. You're right. We'll see what happens with the 8v8. I don't think the gameplay style itself is going to change anything, so it's still going to feel like territory war still. It's just individual territory wars, and it's a little bit different. I think they could come up with a better way for ties. I mean, that protection thing threw me off. I'm like, damn, I cleared this guy. I think I only lost like total of 6 points in total out of the perfect score, and lost. So maybe I had to rethink my defense strategy. I went with my territory war team strategy, thinking that would be pretty solid. Looking at what he put on offense, but he's still our defense. He didn't put a lot on defense, which made me easy to go through and clear, but he was just a little bit more efficient. So I had to rethink my strategy a little bit, but I had bigger fish to fry. So that's just some
Fair
thoughts
enough.
on Gran Arena. We'll see how it plays out. I'm sure in the chat people are like, I love it, and some people are like, this is ridiculous. So I'm sure there's a gambit of emotions on the spectrum. All right, let's get into the with all the technical delays and stuff. Let's get into the roster review. We are doing Joyson's profile today, and they are in Owen's Family Barbecue. All right, so we've got a barbecue
Woohoo!
shop, half price. I'm hoping for baby back ribs or something. Hook it up. And
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back. Chili's baby back ribs. Chili's baby back ribs. Barbecue sauce. Hi!
oh, now you want to join?
I
Yeah.
didn't realize that Finity was fat bastard.
Yeah, I didn't either. Well, with all the Twinkies he eats, it's not a surprise. All right, Joyson. I have no
I
trouble.
ain't a soulless redhead like you, Sanely. I ain't no fat bastard.
Yeah, he's not either. Stanley's not either. Stanley's
Yeah, but fat bastard is.
Mm.
Fat bastard is not only soulless, but he's fat and a bastard.
What's up with your microphone? It sounds scratchy. Is that just me? Is that anybody else?
And we've decided we're not doing the weird news thing because it messes up his computer.
There's too much spam on those.
We can't do sites with spam.
It crashed my
What
computer.
site has spam?
All of them.
All of them.
Advertisements
I've looked
and
at
stuff.
them too. Every time I try to open up one of the spam sites, I get like crazy, like 6 pop-ups and like your phone has a virus and there's a FedEx package waiting for you. And
What the hell?
Yeah.
Every time I get them from you, every time we do the weird news one, there's like 17 pop-ups.
Okay.
I even blocked it, but there's still the advertisers are still doing stuff on there, so you can do the pop-up blocker. But the other stuff is like, it crashed the computer finally because the computer was like, nope, that's too much garbage.
Okay,
Wow.
so Joyson, let's talk about.
So this is what
I'm
they
having
want.
trouble. I'll read it. Yeah. So I'm having trouble getting rank 1 in ships and arena, but I really need advice for teams. I should have for Grand Arena, considering the time, and would like to know if I should go balls out on Murder Bears. Okay, that's pretty much it. Well, if you guys see anything else, any tips appreciated. Oh, and mods. That's
of
what
course,
it said.
mods.
So, arena team, ships teams. Those are the first 2, right?
I think it was just ships, not arena. Because
Both of them. He said he has no trouble.
problem.
He's
He's got Revan and ships. I'm sure are fine. It's
he's
more
getting
about.
first in both. He doesn't need help with squeak.
So let's just look at his characters and what he has in general. And we're thinking Grand Arena, and we really have to rethink our strategy in Grand Arena.
Affinity, how did you do in Grand Arena?
1/6.
Yeah. I'm telling you, these matches are super freaking close,
Well,
guys.
so there's going to start being stuff that comes out of it. Any lead where you generate health and protection now has crazy value on offense. So you're better off, and it's a little bit of a departure from territory war, but I think you're better off saving characters like First Order. Like, in fact, Rogue One probably has a lot of value on offense now. Stuff where you can recover your health and protection and try to get maximum. Bastila, if you correctly kind of set her up, because she gets so much protection at the beginning, you can use her on offense and never lose any protection at all. So those ones will probably work out really well on offense. A team like Night Sisters could work really well on defense because they bypass protection. They go straight to your health. They can start knocking down, not to mention that Talzin, the Night Sisters plus Enfys works out really well on defense as well, just kind of in general. So counter-attacking teams that go against your health directly, like Night Sisters, I would actually say, and we would have to see how it works out, potentially a faction like Jawa can be pretty interesting as well, because you can put on now, every time they attack, because the Scavenger's unique, a bunch of thermal detonators on a person. So as you attack Jawas, you're now loading up thermal detonators that can't be dispelled. So unless you kind of beat the time, you're going to have detonators going off and reducing your protection. So unless you're attacking with a protection recovery team, you're losing out on potential protection points. And because of all of the offensive banners, you definitely have to focus more on offense in order to try and get all of the little things here and there. Phoenix is another squad where you can recover your health and protection. So that's another good one. I mean, there's a bunch of them.
But go try to actually beat a team with Phoenix. What are you going to beat with Phoenix? I mean, you're not going to beat. If somebody puts Bosk on defense, you're not beating them with Phoenix.
Yeah,
right?
But if they're putting Bosk on defense, now they've lost a team with recovery of health and protection. So what I'm saying is, eventually, I think what's going to happen with this is you're going to see a shift towards offense, because there are way too many banners to earn in offense with all of the little things, with health recovery.
Yeah, you're almost
protection.
like
You're better off saving for offense. So if you're putting bounty hunters on defense, you have now lost a team that can recover health and protection. You have pretty much almost guaranteed, depending on what division you're in, but you've almost guaranteed that you're now going to be losing at least 5 banners, because your whole team won't have health and protection, at least on one of your attacks, because there aren't that many health and protection recovery leads.
Right. But here's the deal.
I think you're going to see easier teams on defense.
But hold on. But here's the deal. There are only so many teams that work, right? If you have to put 7 teams up, right, and 7 teams on defense, that's 14 teams. That's 70 characters. That's effectively half your roster, right? The characters we don't use because they don't work.
Maybe. So I had to do. So I went full offense this territory war, and mine was 6. So I needed essentially 12 squads. So the teams that I put on defense were, I had one good team with my scoundrel team, and that was with Kira, Vandor Chewie, Zalbar, Mission, and L3. So I had that team on defense. Then my other teams on defense were a Jawa team. I had a let me go double check here, because I also then put my droids, because they have some speed. I put a rebel team with Wedge and Biggs, because Biggs goes quickly early, and put Wampa on that team, so you have a counterattack. I did a Jedi counter team with I'm a Gundee with Jedi that I didn't use on my Bastila team, so I saved Bastila on offense, and then I put Ewoks on defense, because they can at least get some attacks in, but they're not going to recover protection all that much. I don't have the Zeta on Wicket, so I figured that was my team on defense. Meanwhile, on offense, I had all of my teams, and because you get more benefit, all you have to do is place a team on defense in order to get the points. Yeah. The way that you make the difference is how efficient you are on offense. So why would you give up
absolutely
on offense? Because if you have the right counter, it doesn't matter how good the team is. If I am facing a Jedi Training Raid team, I know my Night Sisters are going to crush them. Like, I just know they're going to take them out. So why would I worry? If I see a First Order team, I'll put in my Jedi Training Ray and knock them out really quickly. So you can play the counter strategy against almost all teams. Now, Revan is the one kind of exception, because Revan doesn't have a pure counter in the game right now. So you might be saving your Revan on offense in order to try and take out the opposing Revan or something like that. But your points are all earned on offense. There's no benefit to putting strong teams on defense. Now, I'm not saying I'm saying don't put your strongest teams. Ideally, if you're saying like the 14 teams for you, right, Grande? Your top
14
7
teams.
you want to save for offense, and your next 7 you want to put on defense. And then the question is, how good are you efficient on offense versus how good is your next group?
I totally agree with that. You can also say that you have certain teams that are only offensive teams, right? You know they're gonna do well on offense, right? Let's think of a team like that. Troopers, right? I'm not gonna put Troopers on defense.
Why not?
They're not, because my Troopers work so much better on offense.
And they with each death they get health and protection back.
And they do gain health and protection.
You can, but you realize if you have range trooper, do you know how hard it is to prevent the other team from gaining protection back? And the Imperial troopers don't really work all that well against Night Sisters anymore. They can, but if you don't land that daze...
Yeah. But what I'm saying is troopers can work well against a bunch of teams. Troopers work amazing against bounty hunter teams, for example, especially with boss lead. Because they got so much because those other characters are squishy, they don't have a heal, and if you do an AOE, if you do an AOE against that team, they wipe them. I mean, they wipe them off the face of the earth. There's no way they're getting.
But you do need the Zeta on Stark, because if you don't have the Zeta on Stark, you're not getting the protection recovery. So it depends on where your trooper is.
You mean Veers?
No, Stark's unique is the one that gives 3% protection or something. I'm pretty sure it's Stark.
I don't think it's a Zeta that's required for that. I'm gonna go look real quick.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's a Zeta on Stark.
They recover health and protection for each kill, and I don't think.
Yeah. Look, under Veer's unique, they recover 10% protection.
They also get additional protection from Stark's unique.
Yeah, they get also 3% in Ruse.
Yeah, but 1%. But just Zeta Veers gives you 10%. So. Let's be real here, right? I mean, 10% protection is 10% protection.
Yeah, but it's only but remember, that's only when an enemy is defeated.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you don't drop below 50% protection maximum, because if you drop below that, you're not getting full protection now. Because it's not a matter of 10% versus 90%. If you're not 100%, you're not getting the banners.
Here's the deal, though. Yeah, but if you die because you took in a scrub team, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right? I'm not saying to take in a scrub team. I'm actually saying keep your best teams on offense, the ones that actually recover health and protection more consistently than I think the Veers team does. So I would actually say troopers are better on defense, especially if you have range.
I disagree.
Because with range trooper, you're getting many extra attacks that you're going to make it very difficult for them to retain their protection, and you're going to prevent banner gains on their side.
Troopers don't go first, and if you don't manipulate them, they're going to get crushed.
Troopers will go first if you have a fast start.
But he's not going to be faster than a lot of teams' other starter, and I'm telling you.
And if they're wasting a good team against your Imperial troopers, then they're probably not.
On that. Zeta Finn could easily knock that team to
Zeta Finn could, yeah. Zeta Finn with like a Gear 8 Holdo and a Gear 8 Rose could probably take that team out.
AoE days, they're done. They're absolutely done. But that's why you want, and I don't know what the AI does. Troopers on defense sometimes. But troopers,
it's screwy. It's screwy. It's the same reason. It's the same reason why you probably want to make sure that you keep like some kind of like a Rex Wampa team for offense and not throw a Rex Wampa team on defense.
I've been really, and I'm looking back at, I kind of kept track a little bit of what happened with each of the teams that I played on offense. I had all my good offensive teams. I put Bounty Hunters, I put First Order, I put Night Sisters with Nest on defense, and then I put a bunch of scrub teams. I put like Phoenix, Murder Bears. I think I even put like a droid team in there. I'm like, hey, you guys go forth and get slaughtered. And what it really came down to was I went in against, I can't remember what it was. I think it was this Celestium or something. I went in there with Wampa and Thrawn, with Imperial Pro Droid, Palpatine, and I'm trying to think of who I had the fifth. I think it was Death Trooper.
By the way, so they did correct me in the chat. So Stark gains protection, but only for himself. It's not for all the troopers.
Right.
You do need a Zeta on him to recover his protection, but it's only for him, not all troopers.
Right. But it was, I think it was the Thrawn Magma team. I went in there with Wampa, IPD, and I think it was Palpatine. I went in there to kill one of the teams, and I crushed it. But Probe Droid got hit a couple times, and that's really what it came down to. That's what cost me. And I'm like, God dang it! That's really what it came down to. Is I lost 4 or 5 points because I didn't have protection on him. Health was fine, but it was just protection. I'm like, well, crap. So I'm just looking because that was really it.
Again, right? I mean, if it becomes this war of attrition thing, and you have, this is the reason why it should be a round robin of 8, because the likelihood of you getting 8 players together, and the other thing too is you have to have really good RNG. There's also a way too to fix this by screwing people by putting non-conventional mod loadouts and people not looking at your team. Right?
Mhm.
A good example of this is, do you go full potency or do you go full offense if you were to put a Mother Towson under a Zeta Asajj Ventress? Do you go speedy old Daka or do you go slow old Daka? And I'm going to tell you, a few Zetas might make the difference. A Phoenix team on defense with, 4 freaking Zetas on that team is going to be killer versus one that doesn't have any Zetas, and you have to play the team differently.
Mm-hmm. And this is kind of why we're talking about this, because this is what Joyson asked us to do, is to kind of discuss about what do we do for territory wars, it's our territory, or Grand Arena, I mean. And this is kind of where we're at. It's like, and I'm looking at your squads. You've got plenty of great squads here. Just looking at your roster, Joyson. So, I mean, we're still trying to figure this out ourselves. So, for Grand Arena, it's like you've got the teams, but it's like, what do you do with them? Like if we go down the line, I mean, I'm just looking through. Your roster's great, but it's a whole different way of thinking about how we use these characters. I mean, your bounty hunters are 11 up, with a Zed on Bosk. Perfect. Then we go to the next team. Let's look at the next team, and then we go to the next team, and it's like, I don't know. Let's just look at. We did want us to look at Ewoks, so let's look at Ewoks. Should he go? Where's his Ewoks? GG's being slow. Stop it, GG. Why are you being this way? Paplo is 6 stars. Ewok Elder 6 stars. Chirpa is 5 stars. Logray is 4 stars. He has 3 Ewoks done: Wicket, Scout, and Tebow. I don't know if you're gonna have enough time, brother. I mean, when do we think the event's coming? The 14th, the 15th, this
14th.
weekend?
14th it'll start, so by the 21st it should start.
It depends on how close you are to Paplo and Elder. That's one caveat. Second one, you're going to need it. I'm still of the mindset that Chirpa is the key to that, and your Chirpa is only 5 stars.
You're aiming for a 6. I'll be honest. You're probably aiming for a 6-star C3PO because your gear is way too far behind, I think, for what the difficulty is going to be for 7-star.
Yeah.
So still keep working on your Elder and your Paplo. You can work on getting them to 7-star, so you can probably attempt it, but you're still going to probably need to gear up all of your Ewoks more than they are if you're going to be trying for the 6E, or the 6E, the 6-star. The other thing to kind of consider, though, is how invested are you in the Ewoks? Because if you start gearing them up, keep in mind you're now going to have, probably with how much time is left and where your Ewoks are, you're probably going to have 5 Ewoks sitting at maybe gear 8, gear 9. Now you're adding additional GP to your character, and we still don't know exactly how matchmaking is going to work. And for Grand Arena, since you asked about it, you're going to make it a little bit more difficult potentially on yourself because you're going to have that little bit of fluff. So you're adding fluff with a reason, which is going to be you're aiming for C3PO, but how much are you invested in moving the Ewoks up? They're a good faction to have, but if you're not going to take them up like gear 11 to make them usable, then you'll have to, it's up to you how much you want to consider, because a little bit more gear and you can probably get the 5-star unlock of C3PO. 6-star is probably going to be somewhat difficult, and then 7 is more likely than not, unless you have a bunch of gear saved or something, and you need a ridiculous amount of Carbantes for these Ewoks. You're probably going to be out of it for 7-star. Despite getting 7-star Ewoks, it's going to probably be very difficult based on just how the event is going to be lined up.
Yeah.
So he said he is a hoarder and has enough gear to hoard them all.
I mean,
Okay.
I was in the same boat you were. I had a ridiculous.
I know. He mentioned to me before he was a hoarder, but to have the number of Carbantes that he has, that they need, that's
why I was able to do it.
Carbantes.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. Thane that donated earlier, he said Finn is right and Grande is wrong. Well, I mean,
Okay, I tell you what. Ask Thane who won their Grand Arena and who didn't.
I won my Grand Arena.
You both won. So that
We did.
yeah. So I lost, but that's just because I have to rethink how I do my strategy. Because really, my strategy was it was territory war mentality, right? Not really understanding the full mechanism of these additional points and how they came in. So I went in thinking, all right, what do I need on defense? What do I need on offense to crush it? And I still wiped the board with him, right? He wiped the board with me. It's just about, and it wasn't even about me being efficient. I didn't lose any characters when I was clearing. So efficiency wise, I'm good, but it's it's that next step of efficiency. All right, now do I not only have to be efficient, I have to be really efficient. I have to 5-0 these teams, and if I don't, then I have to hope that he hiccups somewhere. That's really the only way I'm looking at it now. So, but for you, Joyce and Ewoks, yeah, Finn's right on this. If you can go all in on them, brother, I mean, go for it. At least try to get 5 or 6 star 3PO. I'm guessing, and we were talking about this on the Alliance stream last night, that it to me, Gear 11 is going to be the check with the Omegas and Zeta on some of these characters. I think Gear 12 will make it easier, but I think one thing I was thinking about too, and I was talking about to Grandi about this for the show, is that one of the reasons that bounty hunter event was so tough for Chewbacca is that some of the bounty hunters in there were so squishy. I mean, Greedo and IG-88 are two of the squishiest characters in the game. They just cannot take damage. You had to have a little bit of RNG if you're going without a boss. Boss was the reason that they were able to survive is because of what he does, with his Zeta and everything. Ewoks are a lot tankier. They don't do as much damage as the bounty hunters do, but they are a lot more beefier with their health and stuff. So I think Gear 11 will be fine. But we're going to see. But if you're wanting a 7-star 3PO, I think you're going to need all the Omegas done. You're going to need at least a Zeta on Chirpa, and I think it's going to be Gear 11 check. Does anybody think it's going to be more than that?
No, I think Gear 11 with maybe a Zeta on Chirpa is what you're going to need, kind of minimum.
Because I did all the Omegas, and I did the Zeta on Chirpa. I'm not doing any other Zetas. I just can't do
If you're gonna use the Ewoks, there are other Zetas that are nice. Like the Wicked Zeta is nice, but you have to be committed to doing the Ewoks.
Well, I'm about to be back to 100 Zetas. I just had put one on Jolie, which I could have waited on, but I'm using him, so I figured, he's Gear 12. We'll put the Zeta on, finish him up, right? And then we got this announcement. I'm like, okay, let me put one on Chirpa, because I've got the extra Zetas to do it. And it still leaves me to where I'll have, by the time everything's done and said and done, I'll have the Zetas for 3PO and still have my 3 in the bank there because I'm saving for, just in case Revan pops whenever he does, So
wait right now. I mean, essentially keep working on the stars on Paplo and Elder.
Yeah.
And before you commit to anything gear-wise, you can wait. We don't know his kit, right? So that's the first thing.
True.
So we can see how worth it he is. Do you only really care to get into 5-star because you don't have a place for him in your roster? So if that's the case, then just get him 5-star and leave it. And you may not need a lot in order to get him 5-star. So by the time that, again, you want to target whatever you're completing, maybe like 2 days before the end. So let's say we're looking at the 19th or the 20th if it ends on the 21st. You'll have like 5-6 days in there where other people are going to be doing the events.
Oh yeah, I am.
They'll be able to. I'm sure you're going to see posts on Reddit where somebody managed to clear tier 6 or whatever for the 6-star with like gear 7 or something, and it's going to be kind of the one-off because of RNG. But I'm sure you're going to end up seeing some of that crap, and then you can go there. But really, I mean, don't bother gearing them yet.
Yeah, just
unless
wait.
you know that you're going to work on them as a faction. If your only purpose is C-3PO, wait.
If you've got the gear and you can hoard it, and why don't you just wait and see? I'm going to go in there, guns a-blazing, and people are praying that I have 6 hours of streaming for them, so that's going to happen.
Well, yeah, of course.
One thing we didn't think about for Grand Arena. I just went back to this for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing we didn't think about was the strategy could be different if you are. If you have to put in 6 defensive squads versus 7 defensive squads, or 3 defensive squads versus versus 7, right? So I feel like that it might be possible that we're going to end up with a completely different strategy or a slightly different strategy based on what level you're at.
To some extent, I think you're right. The main difference, I think, is that it's just the number of teams right now. So this was one thing that I did have a concern with about these matchups.
The strategy was totally different in Galactic War not Galactic War, Territory Wars, when we were at 35 teams per zone versus when we were at 25 teams per zone.
Right, but there's a big difference with what you're comparing, though. That one you changed from 25 to 35, assuming the exact same GP. So this one, it scales based on your GP, whether or not you're putting 6 or 7, and it should be, hopefully, representative of how many teams you should be able to farm given your GP. The problem is they matched up based on total GP and not character GP, and so part of your GP is being taken up by ships, which had nothing to do with this particular Grand Arena. So it kind of threw it off a little bit, but the number of teams you're putting on defense scales with your GP versus what we have to do actually with
it could be scaling based on character GP. We don't know that that's making an assumption.
We don't know, but from all people that have looked at who their opponent is, their opponent was within 1,000 or less GP. Some people were within 7, and it was total GP, not character GP.
Yeah, so, I was within 125.
Yeah, I was within, I think, about 500 or something of mine. So it really does seem like at least the matchmaking was done based on your total GP. Whether or not the number that you put on defense was based on character GP, I'm not sure. It could have been. Because ours was still relatively close. I think ours was within 25,000 or something like that. So,
that's nothing.
It's not a lot, but it is, about 2 solid character difference, and that could make a difference based on how much you're putting on defense.
It could.
And so, hopefully the strategy isn't too different, Grande. The big problem, though, is going to be what teams are available to the people that are lower, right? Because we do recommend Phoenix. So Phoenix is one of those teams that does get the health and protection, and at lower levels, I think it could be.
It's either going to be. I think even at higher levels, it's either going to be an offense or defensive team, right?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense. First of all, we tell people to gear it up, and if you get one that's super freaking OP, it's with all the Zetas and stuff, it's not bad.
Right. And then but then you get to Palpatine and Thrawn, and so you're creating the Sith Empire team. That's more than likely going to end up being an offensive team that you'll want to save. And so then afterwards you have your First Order, so that may be a little bit more of an offensive team. So you're kind of going to have these. I think in the lower, as you get higher, it kind of ends up that way too. If you save for offense, it really is going to be a test of the lower end of your roster. Because you save your top end in order to be the most efficient you can on offense, because you get all of these extra bonus banners. And then on defense, how good is your 8th team, your 9th team? Or if you're in the three teams on defense type thing, how good is your 4th, 5th, and 6th team? Whatever it is. I think it's going to be a test of your, I'm saying lower end, but really it's kind of the middle of your roster, because the lower end are all of your level 1s and stuff. But the lower end of your geared characters.
Wait, you actually have level 1s? I don't have any level 1s.
Well, you don't. But the people that are putting 3 probably are. You're a freaking whale, Grande.
Yeah, all right. Let's move on to Joyson. So that
you were talking
just
about how you're going to be fighting Loki. That tells you where you are.
Right. So, just looking through your roster, there's some characters here and there you can work on. First Order Stormtroopers, one that popped up when I was just going through here. Probably get him to gear 11. That'll help you out. I'm just looking at your teams just in general. I'm not seeing any real weaknesses. Stark needs to go to 11. Snowtrooper needs to go to 11. Snowtrooper at 12 with the bayonet is nasty. I went with my trooper team yesterday with that. And it was like, Snowtrooper, go, death. Snowtrooper, go, death. Snowtrooper, go, I win. It was ridiculous how hard he is, especially when Stark goes. That's why it's so important to have Stark go first, because he gives that buff to Snowtrooper. Winning. what else do we want to
It's hard to comment on everything Grand Arena right now because there is
Yeah,
going
we're
to be a
still
lot
up in the air,
that's
but
gonna
I'm
get
just looking
shaken
in
out.
general in this roster. It's solid. It's a very good roster, and there's no. I mean, Ewoks are Ewoks. I mean, I understand why you haven't been working on Ewoks until recently. It's just the same thing as the Old Republic. For some people, it's like okay, um, but I think overall, just looking at your roster, I mean,
I don't see a base.
I haven't got to Rebels yet. I was going to Resistance.
I went to Rebels because I saw the
Resistance looks
CLS and
great.
Han up there.
Oh, that's so nice. Hold those Zeta with Gear 12. I got mine 11 7-star finally, so I'm about to take her to 12 after I finish this Ewok nonsense. And then I say the Ewoks have really thrown a kink into my plan for all these Gear 12s, Grande. I'm really upset. I was on a path to many, many level 12 characters. I'm like, well, shit.
You know me, I just Gear 11 everything.
I've done that already. Now for me, it's like, now it's time for Gear 12.
No,
So
I got to tell you, I still got teams at Gear 11 because I'm still taking stuff to Gear 12, to Gear 11. I have so many teams. I'm still working on Gear 11.
So Chewbacca 7-star 10, get him up.
Yep.
And there is no bays. That is a big one to not have. That is one of the better tanks in the game, especially for Rebels. The Chewbacca Han Solo CLS Chirrut and Baze combination is an automatic win pretty much for an offense.
He doesn't have the Zeta on Loyal Friend though, so that's one thing.
Well, yeah, that's something you'll have to work on.
Yeah, and his Chewie is Gear 10. The other thing you'll want to make sure if you're running that team, and I'm looking right now, so his CLS has a health and protection combined of around 57,000, and his Chirrut has a health protection combined of 54, which means that your loyal friend is going to end up on Chirrut instead of CLS. If you want to get that team to work, you have to remod a little bit and get your CLS weaker in health and protection than Chirrut, but as strong as possible. That way the loyal friend goes on CLS instead of Chirrut, and that means that Chewie is always assisting Luke instead of Chirrut. So just something to kind of keep in mind if you do want to run that.
It's a route you can go. I go,
but yeah, you have to remod to kind of get that to work
I
properly.
go a different way with mine, and it works just as well. I just go balls to the walls with they hit so freaking hard. I love it. It's just like bam, 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 dead. Oh.
Is my mic being stupid again? God damn it.
Yes, it is. I told you earlier, but I guess it's just...
I know, but nobody said anything, so I wasn't sure if it was just yours. But...
I did, and you didn't listen to me.
No, I heard you say it, and then you asked, does anybody else hear it, and nobody said anything.
Oh, well, that's because Grundy is too big a deal to say anything.
Yeah, that's probably true. Hold on, let me reconnect.
Your mic is really weird. Yeah. I didn't want to
Yeah, apparently it happened yesterday after I reset.
My mic is weird all the time, so why the heck am I don't have any room to talk.
I'll be right back.
So there are some pieces you can work on, Joyson. We talked about your Ewoks. The GA. I mean, Grand Arena. Listen, we're still kind of figuring it out. Our ideal is that it's going to be offensive minded.
But the other thing too is if you continue to work for TW teams, you'll probably be fine for Grand Arena.
Yeah, they go kind of hand in hand. It's just your strategy is a little bit different. Teams are going to be the same kind of synergies and stuff. The counters are still the counters. I was saying that yesterday on the Remon line show. The counters are still the same counters. That's not changing. It's just maybe tweaks here and there so you can be more efficient with because of how the banners work to be more efficient so it may come down to that. So you have to kind of think the strategy. Now someone may come up with a strategy on defense where it's like you can't beat me on defense and you just win a couple on offense and you win. I mean, I could see maybe a scenario like that playing out where it's like, damn, I couldn't even get through any of his teams and he'd be 2 of mine and 1. So I mean, it could come down to that. I mean, there's still some things we have to tweak and stuff, Joy. So we'll figure it out. Let's look at your mods. I'm just gonna put the old speed.
Any better?
Yeah, it's much better.
Yeah, a lot better.
Hooray!
All right. Mods I'm seeing look pretty.
I hate Skype. Did I mention that I hate Skype?
Yeah, you did. Mods look pretty damn good. You can tell he's been working on his mods, Finn.
Oh, I know. I definitely know.
I mean, yeah. Really nice. Got some blues and some purples you still need to work on. I would stop with the 6Es for now with your roster. Let's try to get some of these other ones. I'm not worried about arrows, but some of these other ones that are purple that have these 3 on there. You got a lot of them. Let's start getting those suckers to gold. And your blues too. There's some blues like that as well. 12 speed 3, 12 speed 4, 12 speed 3. Definitely need to hit those up. I do that before I do any more with your 6Es. Especially since you have a lot of characters that are still not gear 12. It's, the more of these upper echelon mods, the ones you do have are on Revan. I have and Yoda. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. And you've got enough mods in your repertoire that you can compensate for the fact that you can't use those mods on your gear 11 tunes and less. So let's focus on getting a lot more of these mods to go. That's all I would recommend. Your mods look fantastic. I mean, they're well placed. I'm not seeing any that are on a character. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, wait a minute. Oh, you better get that damn 4-star off Snowtrooper. I was going through. I was like, wait, is that a 4-star? Nice mod, but not that nice. Get that off there. But yeah, mods look great. I don't have any really recommendations. They look solid, really solid. Arena team looks solid. Yeah, none of the characters you have your mods on, I have any complaints about. Anything you're seeing, Dr. Finn? Grande?
Nothing in particular, no.
I think you said it.
Good job. I mean, this is a really nice roster. I really like where you focus. You focus on the right things. You've got Revan, Ewoks. I would say keep farming the stars. Let's wait on the gear and stuff. Let old Ranger go get bitch slapped a few 100 times, and then you'll figure out what you need to do and give you a better idea. Because I'm going to stream it. I'm going to be drunk. I'm going to be miserable. We may even do it. We may even say it for Saturday. Like, hey, for the for the charity stream, guess what? Ranger's going to just do the new event. Let's see what happens. Oh my God, we may raise $1 million, Finn. Oh my God. He said he's going to... Yeah, so there you go, Joyson. If you have more questions specifically, I mean, I saw some characters you need to work on. Baze's one. Some gear and some characters. Nothing bad. I mean, Baze you need to work on. I don't know why he's not in your roster. That threw me off a little bit, but that's really it. Everything else looks really good. I really like your roster. So, and if you have more questions, Joyson, please, you can just message us directly. Be more than glad to answer any questions you have moving forward. Especially keep in touch with the Ewoks and stuff. So, good job with your roster. And if you guys would like a roster review, all you need to do is send your GG page to us, specifically to Dr. Finn. Make sure he responds, and we will add you to the. That's not what I said, Nicktown. I saw that. How dare you? I did not say that. And I'll not be doing that, bastards. But if you'd like a roster review, make sure he responds, and then we'll add you to the queue. All right, I was going to do Weird News Monday, but it crashed my computer. Because Finn's trying to give me like all that spam and viruses.
It opened fine on mine. So instead, we'll just read them tomorrow. We'll do Weird News Tuesday because we're already at 1 o'clock.
We're gonna read them tomorrow.
I'll read them tomorrow, so you guys don't have to open it and get all viruses.
Yeah, it's all the spam. And then what it does too, Finn, is like, especially since I'm streaming and all this other stuff, and with emulator and everything, it slows it down. And I've noticed that when I cut them off, then it goes back to being fine.
Okay.
Like the gameplay
I'll read them tomorrow. We have some, and I'll give you just pictures as we are doing it. So we can get that for tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's get to some questions. Stanley has been patiently collecting all the questions. He is that's why he's a ginger ninja. He hasn't said anything. He's just been lurking. I gotta say,
except calling me a fat bastard.
No.
He chimed in one time to do that.
You started that, Finn.
What did I do? I sang to Chili's Baby Back Rib song, and Sanely called me a fat bastard.
Sanely?
Well, that's what he's saying in the movie.
Yeah.
See? He admits it.
You came in singing that stupid song, and so you have to pay the price.
Because I do want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
Oh, my God. Chili Baby Back Ribs. All right, let's get to some questions, Stanley, if you don't mind, sir.
Star Rocks 923 Lego. Question, it's not fair. Michael's bedtime is 11 and Jim can stay up till midnight playing Pokemon. My parents won't budge. I hate 8:30 bedtime. I hate it. Being 6-year-old sucks. Hashtag I blame Finn.
Good job, Finn.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with an 8:30 bedtime.
Oh, really?
You will appreciate it when you get older. Young
No,
man.
you won't.
Also, Star Rocks is not 6, so
Oh,
I'm sure that is a reference to something that I am missing.
Science.
Ed Squeed. Question: what order would you spend prestige on endurance abilities? Keeping 1,000 in the bank in case of a new capital ship, but spending anything more on upgrading this final ship.
I for prestige, I just as soon as I get 150, I've been investing. I only got a couple left to do. And that's I think one or two on Akbar ship and one or two I think left on Mesas, and they'll be done completely. Then I'll just start hoarding. So, I mean, I
Hold
don't.
Fast and his crew ability. Those are the ones that you want.
Well,
Convergence
yeah,
and Hold Fast are the two that you want to spend prestige on. So you get the higher protection recovery, and then you get the retribution when he uses his crew ability. So those would be the two if you're looking for where to spend prestige on endurance.
and you have to make a call. For me, I've only recently started hoarding certain things because I'm at that point to where it makes sense. Prestige is not one of them. For me, it's like I can't sit there and not have stuff done when I can have it done. Zetas are a little bit different because the Zetas that I want to have done, I do have done, and so I was like, okay, I know eventually Revan's going to come back. I'll need three. I think 3PO is going to need two, so I want to have those two in there. Now, after that, when as I start collecting Zeta, so I have like a cushion. We've talked about this before. A cushion. Prestige is a little bit different because it's so hard to get. So,
I have a cushion on
well, yeah, but I'm
prestige.
sure you're done with all your prestige on your ships, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I've got like a 1,300 cushion just in case, and I'm probably gonna double that in case they drop two new freaking ships at the same time.
I mean, if they do, they do. For me, I'm just going to stay focused on finishing these last couple buildies on these ships. I get, I cash in twice a day, and it doesn't take long, and I'm almost done with having all the ships with their abilities done. So it's just like, okay, I'm fine with that. Rock and roll. But you can make that call too. I mean, if you just want to do Chimera and Executrix and say, I hate the other two ships, that's fine. You really only need.
Endurance is a good ship to
It
max
is.
out.
It
Just the
is.
first two you want to do are the
Yeah.
Hold Fast
And those two are
Convergence.
done. So for me, Chimera and Executrix are done. I'm like, well, I'm collecting all this prestige. I have, why not? Why not? But you're not wrong if you want to hoard. I mean, I don't for maybe a possible ship, but uh, when we're going to get it, I don't know. You know, it could be months away, and I'd rather have some use from the other ships and just have them in my back pocket. That's just kind of my thinking, but both ways of looking at it are right.
I'm saving up to 2,000 prestige, and then I'm gonna go back and gear up the home one and endurance.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Brazo Swaga. Question: have you seen the Simpsons last episode intro? Star Wars themed. Loved it.
I have not.
I have not either.
I haven't watched Simpsons in a long time.
I haven't seen it.
Star Rocks 923 Lego. Question: now that Grand Arena is out, what's a good order for quests? Don't know if I can manage Treya, GK, and Han Solo on offense at the same time. Tactical quests will be over with next Grand Arena.
I don't ever worry about freaking quests.
I don't either.
Quests just happen. If you're a player and you're playing, just let quests happen. Quests don't give you crap. Like,
Well, if you lose a lot, you get 5 Zetas. I saw that happen with Remont last night. I was like, you lost.
They do give you stuff now. They give like year 12 plus pieces and all these other kind of things. But
there's
they'll
nice
happen
gear,
with
but
time.
I'm not chasing it. Yeah, I'm not chasing that.
They'll
I am
happen
so
with
not
time. You don't have to
chasing
like
quests.
speed for it.
Yeah, I'm not chasing quests, man.
Yeah,
Like,
just
ever.
go with whatever you want slowly, and just you'll get them over time. It'll happen.
Though, doesn't the Grand Arena quest give you 20 Zeta materials?
I don't think it gives
I remember hearing them talking about that the other night in voice chat.
I think the last one. Hold on, somebody put it in there. I don't think it was 20, but let me double check because I saw the screenshots. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I'll get back to you. I think it's 5. Yeah, you get 5 mats at the 3 of 3. from what I'm seeing. Tactical Genius, Grand Arena, you get 5. If you do all of them, you get 20. But it's individually like 5, 5, 5, and you just keep on gaining them slowly.
Zombie 7469TX. Question for Ranger 1999. How hard was it to sit and watch last night as Ray was doing his Grand Arena battles?
I love Remon, but he's doing some strange stuff. I'm like, oh man. Oh. Remon has some amazing characters, and he's got Rev and things of that nature. But some of the stuff he did, I was like, "What are you doing, buddy?" But we all play the game the way we want, so I didn't say much. He's, it is what it is, and he was having a good time and was excited when certain teams won, and then certain teams he put in there, like, I don't know. That bodybuilder team gave him fits, and I was like, okay, but he did finally get it with the Ewoks. I'm like, okay, so there you go, buddy. So it's fun, and when we do stuff like that, it's easy to second guess someone, when you're streaming, when lots of people are watching you, then when you're by yourself, no one's watching you, you're kind of sitting there taking your time and doing stuff. So different circumstances. But it was fun.
Old Jazz. Question, what are your thoughts on Bosk's unique Zeta? If I were to put a second one on him, should I remod him? Currently running offense set and health set with decent health offense, speed secondaries, OR. Is there is there another bounty hunter Zeta priority I should look at before doubling up on Bosk?
I don't think you need to remod if you Zeta Bosk.
I wouldn't really recommend his second Zeta because it's kind of useless.
You're doing it to speed up Houndstooth if he's in your front lineup.
Yeah, chances are with your multiple attack, you're gonna run through the protection of somebody, so you're not gonna gain that second taunt anyway. So you can potentially just save your Zeta.
Yeah, save it for 3PO.
Helenix. PSA, actually, as some of you in the RSG Discord server may have seen, a fellow Star Wars Galaxy of Hero player reached out for help on Saturday night who was very depressed and suicidal. Please know that if you need help, folks are here. The RSG crew loves you. The folks in the RSG Discord love you. I love you. If you feel that way, please reach out to somebody. Sorry to get all serious for a sec, but I just wanted folks to know that this community is here for you. You are loved. You are irreplaceable.
Very nice.
Yeah. That was all very nice, except I've been reading what you've been writing in chat, Hellenic, so I don't know if I love you anymore. I'm just saying.
No. But no, seriously, so why we did what we did for the suicide prevention charity stream that we did. It's a lot. Listen, if you are having problems, please reach out to somebody. And I'm glad that person said something last night to where he could get people to help him. Suicide is the worst thing you can do. And we if you just need to talk, as I've always said, and I think the RSG crew feels the same way for all of us. If you need to just reach out and talk to somebody, hit me up anytime, hit them up anytime. Trust me, there is so much out there worth having and experiencing, and knowing that there are people out there that not give a shit about you. So don't do that. I swear to God, if you are feeling that way, reach out to me anytime. I don't care what time of day, night, morning, it doesn't matter. We'll get you squared away.
Paul Bracamonte, question, do you think there will be a lot of high GP players in this game that aren't very active? I've noticed a lot of people are smoking their opponents. RSG for the win.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Simple answer is yes. There's a lot of people that spend money on the game in order to not spend time. Just flat out. They spend money because they don't have to spend the time in order to basically free to play their way up through characters and stuff. So they'll get the characters whenever they're out, and then they'll just leave it alone until certain events come out. They're low in arena. They just kind of do minimum stuff in territory wars. They may not focus in territory battles all that much. So yeah, they're scattered in a bunch of guilds. Like when you think of, so here's one of the kind of misconceptions a lot of people have. When you think of people with high GPs, right? You tend to think of the guild. you may think of a Dark Lords guild, a TI guild, a Wallet Warriors guild, a BHG guild, an MC guild, right? All these guilds that you know are highly focused on the activities. But there are a lot of high GP players that are in lower guilds that are just there because they're just hanging out with people and they're just playing casually. So those guys are going to get matched up eventually against other people that are their same GP, but now it's not restricted by guild because their guild GP was a lot lower. So you'll see a lot of these people come up too. So there may not be like a huge number of them. Obviously, it'll be higher in the lower end, but there will be a good number of whaley, kraken-y players that just aren't super active. And just the way they want to play.
Darth Hideous, question for Stanley. How did you not realize Finn was Fat Bastard? I thought everybody knew that. Yeah, I should have noticed sooner. Nathaniel Morgan,
Actually,
question.
Finn is more like a gremlin.
Oh.
Just don't pour water on him, otherwise he'll eat you and your house.
Not quite.
Nathaniel Morgan, question. How did Finn win? I thought he wasn't trying.
Ah.
I didn't try the first time, and then they canceled it on me. So I was like, you know what, screw it. Let me just give it a shot here the second time. But I like I said, I did crap on defense, and I went on offense. That seems to be the strategy, and just finding out which defensive teams work best will eventually be what the solution is.
Ouchie Dumpling, question. Did you guys see that Chewy event is on the 27th, and it looks like we'll only have one territory war starting tomorrow with Offense Day overlapping with Phase 1 Lightside Territory Battle?
Yeah, I think it's because of the holidays. They're kind of a little bit back on that because it's going to be
There's a
Christmas
lot
time
going
and
on
New
with that
Year's.
Chewy. So the Chewy event is starting on the 27th, right? So that's one part. The other part, if you didn't notice, is the duration of the event. It goes from the 27th until the 8th. That's like 12 days that they have for that event. So I'm fairly sure somewhere over there is probably going to be an overlap of the Millennium Falcon. Like, I don't know what other reason there is for a legendary to be 12 days, essentially. So, yeah.
Contingent 33, question. Is there a reason the mod reward is health set for Ground War?
It's usually health set for most of these. I think it's only, what is it? Is it the mythic events that drop other sets? I can't remember for sure. I think it's mythic events that give other sets, but I think most of these events now are giving health sets. I've noticed my health set numbers have been going up dramatically lately, and it's because they seem to be adding that to every event.
The Smugglers event also gives different ones depending on which tier you complete.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Kazakage Too Easy. Question Grande, should we gear Lobot for lead in Grand Arena?
Lobot.
Lobot's in disguise.
No, that's wrong, Finn. I'm going to really I'm going to kill you if you do that again.
In other words, yes. Next question.
Ouchie Dumpling. Question, do you think someday I'll be able to set the spooky table as my in-game profile picture?
I hope so. I hope that is one of the things in the boxes.
The spooky table.
I like the spooky table. And it needs to be an animated one where Nihilus is just attacking it and nothing happens. It needs to be the first animated portrait. Just Nihilus running into the table and doing jack.
Food for thought. Use Chewbacca. Next time it comes up, you will thank me when you do.
Oh, yeah, I used...
Because he annihilates that table.
Oh, yeah, I used, what was it, the CLS with the Churden base. I killed it first round. I was like,
Chewie has never broken a table in his life.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
How do you know? You don't know him.
Chewie doesn't get angry at anything to break a table. That's silly.
Yeah, I mean, other than almost killing Lando by choking him to death. Yeah, you're right. Good call, Finn.
Exactly.
Yeah, and, because, Wookiees rip people's arms out of their sockets if they lose.
Yeah, but they don't break tables, see? Arms and sockets are different from legs on chairs. Next question.
Yeah, you're completely wrong. Finn fails us again.
Billy Gunn. Question, should I consider myself a big deal now that my first Galactic Arena match was versus a Dark Lord?
Oh.
Did you win?
That doesn't say.
Oh,
That's
well.
what you. That's the major question. If you beat somebody from Dark Lords, then you become a big deal. Otherwise, you have to just stick with the Patron title. And if you did beat the person from Dark Lords, talk with Hideous, so Hideous can have a talk with that person.
Zarathustra. Question: what are your Rex/Wampa lineups? Still learning where to use Wampa effectively.
I use mine in two teams. I use it with the Thrawn team that I do with the Magma team. Nasty. Uh, in Heroic AT, I'll use it with the CLS Hermit Yoda Akbar BB-8 team. I'll go in the end, somewhere in phase two, put on auto and rock and roll. I mean, there's a lot of places you can use Wampa in territory wars, territory battles. Um, I mean, I was just feeling frothy this weekend, and I put it on my Sith team for the sixth one, for tier six battles, and when the Retreya, Scion, Nihilus, there was old Wampa doing work, just kicking the crap out of them. It was so beautiful.
Once Karth and Ordo become farmable, you're gonna see Wampa come back. Because those two with Wampa, it's so powerful. That'll be a Grande Arena team as well as a TW team.
Jason Hommel, question: I just finished unlocking Wampa and got him to gear 12 with 1 Zeta. What's a good territory war / Grand Arena team to use him on?
Didn't we just answer this question?
No.
Oh. I mean, Thrawn Magma team is a good one. You can use them in a lot of different ways. I mean, if you. So it depends on what the lineup you're facing. I mean, like, I think I even used for Treya. I did use it yesterday for my Treya team. I had Treya with the trooper. I put Wamp in there and just wrecked shop with against his. I think it was his Treya team that I was facing. Um,
Wampa's the epitome of plug and play. I mean, literally, he has no faction. He is the epitome of plug and play. He works really well under a Vader lead, but you may potentially want to use Vader under a Emperor Palpatine lead, depending on who you're facing. So I would say it just depends on who you're facing and whether or not you can plug and play. And Wampa works well under a lot of different leads.
Mm-hmm.
We had Rex mentioned in the last question. Vader is another one, potentially under a Karth and stuff that does dots. You could, and I played around with this in Galactic War, but that's pretty much it. And I don't think it's going to be super reliable in Territory War and Galactic Arena, but just something for fun. Under an IG-88 lead, he's really fun because he gets all these extra dots lining up every time he counterattacks. So if you can put R2, 88, and Wampa on the same team, and you keep Wampa unstealthed, God, things attack it counterattacks, and because of his crit, he can apply like 2 dots, and he just starts doing crazy amounts of damage. It's just a fun team to play around with, but I played around with it only in Galactic War where the teams are a lot weaker. So I don't think it's going to be super viable in Territory War and Galactic Arena, but really you're just looking for a plug and play with Wampa in order to help finish things off.
Kazakage, too easy. Question: what's some good Rex teams for Grand Arena defense?
I wouldn't put him on defense. Rex is one of the squishier characters. When you put him in a team, there's a high likelihood that he dies. So I would not put him on defense. I like him on offense a little bit better. If you can make sure that you gain turn meter very, very quickly with the team in order to finish something off. Now, again, depends on your GP level because you don't gain too much protection and stuff back depending on your team comp. So.
Pedro Khan, question: is it worth it to Zeta? Paplus don't hold back.
I would wait until we know for sure what we're needing for the Ewoks. Now,
yeah.
If you're going to go beyond that, yeah. But
it's a good Zeta.
It's a good Zeta. It's just unless you're going all in on Ewoks as a team you want to use moving forward, then that's the only reason why you do it. But if you're just talking about this event, let's wait and see if all you're doing is just trying to do what you need to do to beat the event.
Contingent 33 question: I have 3 Ewoks at gear 9. one at Gear 8 and two at 6. Would you think there's time to get to Gear 11? I'm excluding Tebow because of Chirpa lead.
Yeah, there's time, but you might want to start saving your crystals from Arena and Fleet and all of that. That way, because you are potentially going to need to buy gear. I'm just gonna, just straight up, you're probably going to need to buy some gear.
Yeah.
Especially
DSP,
if you don't have it saved, because you need a lot of Carbantes.
DSP question: why are Ewoks still so underrated even by Finn?
It depends on what you mean by underrated. I've always said they're a really good faction. The problem is, until this event, Ewoks had kind of a single purpose, which is offense and territory wars. Everything else you could have gotten away with undergeared Ewoks. So unless you were super focused on Ewoks for territory wars, I said they're a really good faction, but they're a late game faction. So you have to be beyond getting a lot of the factions that are required for other legendaries, other events that get you additional bonus rewards. I mean, for the Wicket, all you needed was a 7-star Wicket, and to beat its other event, you just needed Gear 8. So I don't think I underestimated them. I just said they were a late game one, but now they're utilized for a legendary, so obviously they get moved up a little bit in the line. And I think they're a worthwhile investment depending on what you need. But they're still kind of focused outside of C3PO, mainly just for territory wars offense. Everywhere else is still kind of limited for their use.
Eric Estrella question: is Enfys Nest worth it to put a Zeta on her with her nerf?
I still think she's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's still worth it. She's still awesome.
She's only nerfed against 2 characters, essentially. Revan Lead and Sith Marauder. And if you're facing a Sith Marauder, chances are you shouldn't be facing a Sith Marauder. So those are the only 2 characters that really affect the way that Enfys Nest works. So yes, she is a good Zeta.
Paul Bracamonte question for Ranger: how about them Cowboys?
Hey, there were some really crazy games yesterday in the NFL. So, but I'm very excited about the Cowboys won. So, but Finn, I know you're got to be out of your mind with how that Miami game turned out.
Yes, I was.
But-
It was upsetting at the beginning, I have to say, because both teams were just like shredding each other's defense in the first half, and then goes into the second half, and it's just kind of like a crazy struggle, like I'm typically used to with these Dolphins-Pats games. And then the last series annoyed me because they managed to get the touchdown or the field goal and everything set up. I'm glad they didn't end up with a touchdown. But then yeah,
the craziness, but yeah,
the craziness.
both
The
mine.
miracle in Miami.
But then your Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Raiders, so it's like feast
Yeah, I
and
know.
famine, man.
I have to say, man, Oakland takes crap care of their field. That
Mhm.
field was atrocious yesterday. Like, it's no wonder that the kicker slipped. Did you see that crap? Like, they don't maintain it at all now. It's like, oh, they're leaving for LA now. We're not going to care. And they just left the field the crap that it was. It's awful. No wonder they're moving.
Las Vegas, baby.
Las Vegas.
All right.
Lennox question for Ranger: my HK droid keeps repeating observation. The meatbag designated Finn seems to exhibit a number of abnormalities. Shall I blast him for you, Master? Should I just let him do it?
No, just shoot him in the face. I'm totally fine with that. Get to work. Get
Mo's
permission.
Mo's Mike question: how great is it to be when? How great is it going to be when the accident that's waiting to happen, the Dallas Cowboys choke it all away?
It could happen. I mean, listen, I'm excited about that they won, but it's all in perspective. I mean, I don't care what team you are, you have to keep things in perspective, you know. So when they win, you take the good with the bad. You know, same thing with my Astros. You know, they won the World Series last year in 2017. This year they fell a little short. You know, but you still love your team. Will the Cowboys choke? I don't know. You know, everything's cyclical. There'll be years teams just are really off. I mean, if you guys think about it, the Patriots in the 90s to the late 90s were awful. Now they got Tom Brady. and they've been amazing. Eventually, Tom Brady's going to go away. Belichick's going to go away. What will they become then? Will it be 30, 40 years before they win another Super Bowl? Choking the playoffs and stuff like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. Sports comes around, goes in cycles.
Apparingo, question, is Ranger ready to break the legendary event time spent versus Thrawn and Chewbacca break the record, I mean?
So unlike those events, I've had more time to prepare. I had more stuff in the bank. I had nothing when the Chewie was announced, so I was scrambling. It was brutal to get my bounty hunters, and I was lucky that I was able to get, through the graciousness of our fans, to get Bosk. Because I beat it the 6-star event no problem. But I just didn't have 7-star Bosk, and once I got that, it was no problem. But I think I'm going to be way more prepared as best I can because I've been able to gear the Ewoks. They're probably all going to be 11 here in the next 2-3 days, at least. And I really don't want to push them to 12, but we'll see what happens. So I think I'll be in a much better position than I was with the bounty hunters. Thrawn, let's just be honest, I try to cheat my way through that crap, and I paid the price, and then I'd add a little bit more, and then I try again, and then it didn't work. So I really cheated my way through it. I just put that pain on myself. Bounty hunters, there's really not much I couldn't do. It became so fast out of nowhere, even though I was farming them. But Ewoks, I've had the 7 stars. I'd already geared a lot of them to 8. It was just for me this time. It's just I got time, get them to gear 11, and that's what it comes down to. So I think I'll be a little bit better than I was before.
Nathaniel Morgan, question, why no Chewy Mythic where you need gear 12 and gear 12 plus gear and still need good RNG to win? Probably because they're focusing on Millennium Falcon, like Finn said.
Because if it was as hard as the first part, you'd need gear 13 bounty hunters.
Well, the Mythic is usually reverse, right? Isn't the Mythic usually the opposite of what it is? So we would be actually facing the bounty hunters and we would need a CLS squad?
I think it's any
possibly.
team, right, for the Mythic? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure the Mythic tier is always the reverse.
Yeah, it's something.
So we would actually be using probably CLS and Chewy and all of that. The other thing, though, is I don't think they do the Mythic before the 3rd release. I think it's usually the 3rd release.
Yeah, it takes them a while
where
to
it
get
is,
the
and this is
Mythic
the
ready.
2nd release of Chewy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have one more after this one. The next time is probably when we can expect the Mythic event. So at that point, I think we would probably be looking for a Rebel team requiring Chewy in order to fight it. So we may have to use CLS and Han and Chewy and Rolo or something.
I'm AFK a second.
All right, next question.
Pizza the Hut, question, can I get a shout out for my new guild, 1001 Ways to Cook a Porg, a Dark Lord's Guild? Heroic for a week and taking down our 3rd heroic Sith raid starting tonight. Congrats.
No, worst guild name ever. This is the worst guild name ever, and you should be ashamed of yourself for asking for a No, I'm joking. Congratulations, guys. Getting to heroic Sith is definitely a big accomplishment, so congratulations. And keep it up. Don't let complacency hit you guys. That'll be the biggest thing. Once you get to heroic Sith, you have to make sure that you're still pushing forward. You're gonna want to let people relax a little bit now that you have it on farm, but just make sure that you keep on making sure people are active and moving forward. Otherwise, the next time new content hits, you're gonna find yourself delayed more than you would like to be.
And that was the last question.
Hooray! Okay, I think that covers everything, and I don't know when you guys started because I joined late, but we are half an hour over our regular time. So, thank you all for joining us today. This is our lunch hour stream. We do this starting at noon Eastern time on weekdays, and we go through the news and notes on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. And so this is mainly just for roster reviews, some entertainment. We usually do Weird News Monday, but we had some technical issues apparently at the beginning. So tomorrow I'll just kind of read the weird news, maybe some fun things for you guys just to get a little bit of a taste of what we plan on telling you. Somebody devoiced a pirate ghost. We'll leave it at that. So make sure you join us tomorrow for the full story on that, plus a few other fun news and from around the world. And tomorrow we'll do another roster review. We'll have some more fun with you guys. And don't forget, this Saturday, December 15th, will be our American Cancer Society stream. We will be doing a 12-hour stream starting at 8 a.m., and we will be going for 12 hours. We have a rough outline of the schedule kind of figured out. So we'll be posting that on the Tiltify, so you guys will be able to follow along with what games we're playing when. And so you can keep track of that. I am going to be adding 2 more reward options for you guys on Tiltify if you want to donate and have fun. One of them is going to be the Good Old Maurice Dance Party. So what we're going to set up, if you know Good Old Maurice, he is T-Money's counterpart on Operation Metaverse. He also joins us on Jedi Academy. On Saturday at 10 a.m., we will be doing Jedi Academy like usual, but we are planning on having Good Old Maurice on video for you guys, and it'll be the Good Old Maurice Dance Party. And so I will be setting up a reward where for $5, you can suggest a dance for Good Old Maurice to do for 30 seconds. And so you guys can donate, and he will attempt to do the dance on stream, whatever the dance is. It can be the Macarena. It can be the chicken dance. There's going to be a lot of things that you guys can pick. And so make sure that you guys donate for that. And then during Jedi Academy, Good Old Maurice will start doing those dances. The other one that I'm going to be putting is a raffle ticket. So you can buy a raffle ticket for a drawing done by Silverbolt. Silverbolt has drawn a really, really awesome looking Nihilus. He's still kind of working on it. So in the reward on Tiltify, it's going to be listed there so you guys can kind of see where it is right now. But he has created an awesome Nihilus drawing. And so that will be a raffle that one of you guys can win. So that will also be a reward listed on there. So make sure that you guys check those out. I will be adding those by the end of the day here. And make sure you check out all the other rewards. We still have, obviously, my poll for the Zeta, which is at this point pretty much won by Rose Tico, unfortunately. Warrior also has a Zeta challenge, so we need to fill his challenge first, and we're on our way there so far, and we'll promote it more. By the end of the stream on Saturday, Warrior would be willing to Zeta a character of our choice if that challenge gets filled out, and then there is a poll for his Zeta, which is you can pick from Bodhi Rook, Pow, Rose Tico, Night Sister Initiate, Mission, and you guys can donate there. Right now, the leader is Bodhi Rook, and Mission Veo is $20 behind. So lots of fun options there for you guys to donate, whether it's a challenge, whether it's a reward. We'll be adding more fun stuff there. From 5 to 8, we will be doing Dungeons and Dragons on Saturday instead of Sunday. And during that time, you will actually be able to donate and get monsters put on the field. Ranger will be kind of coordinating that. And so you guys can donate and have things attempt to attack and or kill us, which would be fun. We'll also put some nice ones there so you guys can potentially help us out as well if you want to see us survive. So you may cause our death, you may cause us to live. It is up to you guys. So we're going to be putting those up as well for our Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So we're going to have a lot of fun things on Saturday. So please make sure that you do join us for that starting at 8 a.m. where we'll be playing games right off the bat. Ranger, have you returned? I don't think Ranger
I
has
have
returned.
indeed. I was letting you do your
he
spiel.
has returned. Okay. So we've covered everything. So we are ready.
All the questions? Okay, make sure you guys stop what you're doing right now. Hit the thumbs up on the video. Really appreciate if you guys could do that. It really does help get our content out there into the YouTube world. If you haven't already subscribed, listen guys, we do a lot of live streaming, and if you want to know when we're live streaming, the best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button. If anything, if you subscribe, you just know when we're streaming, because it should pop up messages, but YouTube's not the most reliable thing in the world, but it does give you let you know when we have streamed at least. The other thing is our Patreon. If you'd like to support our Patreon guild, our Patreon site, then you can. We use all the money, all the proceeds go back into the stream to get better quality stuff, better things, and we're all about just the community and about making sure that we can keep streaming for you guys. That's what it's all about. So if you'd like to, just check out our Patreon and get ready for Saturday. Really spread the word. We're going to need your guys' help. We got a big, lofty goal. I think we can knock it out of the park with the American Cancer Society. Let's show ACS why this is the best goddamn community in the world, because we have the best, most kindest, awesomest people in the world, and we want to fight cancer and tell cancer to go to hell, and fight the good fight and help these people that have cancer. It's what ACS strives to do more than anything, is to help people with cancer coping and dealing with this horrible affliction. So that's why we really love what, cancer's affected all of us, and anything we can do to help is what it's all about. So on behalf of myself and the crew, thank you guys for stopping by. I have 19 hours of schoolwork to do, so I will not be doing anything today. I don't know what Finn's doing, but yeah. So on behalf of myself and the crew, thank you for stopping by. We'll probably do a lot more stuff starting tomorrow. So everyone have a great rest of your evening, your day. Come join us in the Discord if you haven't already, and hang out. We hang out in there all the time. You're more than welcome to come join us. And with that, I bid you all a wonderful Monday, and take care. Peace.